What's up, beat chasers? My name is Chase, and this is Chasing the Beats. If you missed my last video, it's one that you'll want to go back and watch. It was Blind Eyed by Ren featuring Sam Tompkins. It was amazing. Cool message, great video overall. It's always a vibe. Loved hearing Ren and his versatility. Sam came out strong. Wish I would have heard more of Sam in there, but that just means I need to do another Sam and Ren video. So not a big deal there. But yeah, if you missed it, I'll leave a link down in the bottom in the comments. Go and check it out, and give me a like on that. Leave a comment. Help the algorithm out a little bit if you like. If you like my videos and what I'm putting out, show a little bit of support and help me out. And if you haven't subscribed already, do just minimal effort and go down and click that subscribe button, if you will. So would love to get that from you. Never expected, but always appreciated. Now, the next video that I'm going to get into, I had it requested quite a bit. Let me see if I have somebody I can shout out here, because I'm pretty sure that I did. Yeah, Renee Young. Renee Young was one of the people that suggested that I do this video, and I've kind of been saving it a little bit. I wanted to come back around to it, and yeah, it's going to be Sick Boy by Ren. And I'm going to guess that this is about when he was sick, when he was bedridden, when he was writing his 1,000 songs that he wanted to put out and everything like that. So let's jump into it. Let's break it down and do some reacting. Let's go.
Hi Ren, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for seeing me.
Looking at your
Right off the bat, like just that, the struggle of what he's going through and the setting. I mean, we've seen a setting like this before, so this isn't a new one to us after watching some of the other videos and reacting to those. So we've seen this before, but again, that heavy breathing right off the bat, just like the angst that he's feeling and what he went through. So yeah, super powerful.
Hi Ren, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for seeing me.
Looking at your file here, it seems there's a very apparent interplay with your emotional state and your physical body. Have you ever heard of the trauma response?
I don't think so.
Basically, our bodies can get stuck in a negative feedback loop. Our subconscious can repeat patterns from the past, which can have a pretty drastic downstream effect on our biology. Essentially, your mind is making music.
Yeah. It's so crazy how your mind can keep you sick. The things that you tell yourself, and it's there's a comedian, Nate Bargatze, I think is his name, the one that did this, but he talks about how your brain can trick itself. And the comedy portion of it is, how dumb can your brain be that one side can trick the other side. But the point being that he's making is that you can uh you can fake it till you make it, if you will, in the sense that if you are feeling down or feeling bad, you can fake a smile. Just smile for a while, and it's going to trick your brain into thinking that things are good and things are okay. And so yeah, it's pretty crazy how we can trick ourselves in that way. But as easily as we can trick ourselves into smiling and changing our mood and outcome that way, we can also trick ourselves into the downward spiral that can happen when we're sitting there and having a response, a reactive response to it, and everything. So yeah, a downstream effect. I call it a downward spiral, but a downstream effect. I do like those words. It's a new one to me that I haven't heard, but it's to our biology. It's not even just, on a brain level. It's literally our biology that is changing. And, the more we talk good about ourselves, the more that good comes into our life. I'm about, um, manifesting stuff, and what you focus on is what you're going to get. And a good example of this is when you're looking at buying a new car and you find the car you want. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna love this car. And then you get into this car and you start driving around, and all of a sudden you start seeing this car everywhere where you didn't notice it before. And it's because you're going to get what you focus your mind and attention on. And so, because you have this car, now you're focusing on other cars like your own. So you're seeing them everywhere where you didn't see them before. And it's the same way within our mind. If we're, in that downstream effect, as it says right here, that we're going to keep seeing the downstream effect on ourselves. And so, as good as I guess I was going to say as easily as it can go good, it can go bad. But I would say as hard as it can be to go good, it can be much easier to go bad. So the drastic downstream effect is much easier than the upstream effect if you were to look at the opposite end of things. So yeah, where we focus our mind on is what we're going to get out of our life. So yeah, just and sometimes pulling ourselves out of that downward spiral is tough. Is not an easy thing. But yeah, get stuck in a negative feedback loop.
Have you ever
Yeah.
heard of the trauma
I
response?
don't think so.
Basically, our bodies can get stuck in a negative feedback loop. Our subconscious can repeat patterns from the past, which can have a pretty drastic downstream effect on our biology. Essentially, your mind is moving.
Ugh.
Sick boy, bitten by a tick boy, looking for that fix boy, anabolic steroids, damn so, poster boy, pass out, white noise, quick fix, snake oil, I'm about to break boy. Oh, what a shame, he's in pain, have another go, take another pill, here, take a couple more, let's see how you're doing in another week or so, you'll be feeling worse when the side effects will show, derealization.
Oh, yeah, basically being the poster boy for white stem cell research. It just plays into his Lyme disease and it going undiagnosed for so long and him trying everything out and it not working and he's about to break. Like I can imagine, I talked about how there's times where I felt like I was going to break and I just kept on moving through it and Ren did the same thing in a much deeper way, obviously, but um, yeah, he wouldn't be where he is if he did break and stopped moving forward. And I'm not going to get to where I want to go if I break and stop moving forward. So, um, yeah, it's and then the side effects of medication. Oh, that's one thing that I absolutely hate about medication and the big pharmaceutical companies. It's just the fact that they give you medication, but there's so many side effects, and then all of a sudden you're taking more medication for those side effects, and now you're on a bunch of pills that may or may not be working, or could honestly be making it worse for yourself. So yeah, it's pretty crazy because, um, I am comfortable talking about this more, but I was diagnosed with bipolar 2, and I was so against medication, and I had coped and found coping mechanisms to deal with it throughout my whole entire life through the ups and the downs. And bipolar 2 is bipolar 1 is where you see people get manic and go crazy and start hearing voices and seeing things. And I do have people in my family that do have those episodes. And bipolar 2 is definitely on a lesser scale. You don't get that deep, but you do have your highs and your lows. And I started taking some medication that all of a sudden, after starting this medication, I was having these issues and I couldn't breathe and I didn't know what was going on. And eventually I went to the hospital and I sat down and they tested my heart, they tested my oxygen, they did all these things, and they came back and they were like, "Yeah, you were just having a panic attack," and it was just like, what? Like I had never had a panic attack in my life, so I didn't know what was happening. I'm sorry for anybody that has panic attacks regularly or consistently. Like I don't wish that upon anybody. That's a tough thing to deal with. And the whole point that I'm making is, Ren being undiagnosed like he was for so long, he was going through all these treatments and experiments and pills and all of those things. And it's like, you know, what did he go through outside of these experiments because of the side effects? Like how much worse was it making things for him as he was going through these things? So yeah, just all the things that relate back to my life and what I can think about what Ren might have been going through based on what I've gone through. And again, I don't wish that on anybody. And so yeah, it just makes me feel even deeper for Ren and what he went through.
Have another go, take another pill. Here, take a couple more. Let's see how you're doing in another week or so. You'll be feeling worse when the side effects will show. Derealization, medical patient, losing patience with the process. Walking hand in hand with Satan, complications with the medication. Inflammation, dehydration, inhalation, aggravation. Building up a toleration. Drown, soccer, drown, soccer, drown, soccer, drown. I've been feeling like I'm drowning.
So he just goes through the side effects that he went through. Let's see if we can catch some of them. Yeah, walking hand in hand with Satan. Like, yeah, when you're down that low.
And with Satan, complications with the medication. Inflammation, dehydration, inhalation.
Inflammation, dehydration, inhalation, aggravation, all of these things can come as side effects. And then the next line that he says is toleration, the tolerance you build up. So yeah, things might work for a little bit, and then all of a sudden they just stop working out of nowhere because you built up that tolerance, and it, makes it that much harder. And especially if you start to get better and you see hope and the light at the end of the tunnel, and all of a sudden you revert back to the original, like, that's tough. And I've been there. I've had to up my medication and everything. So yeah, it's again, it's interesting to hear these words and to relate so hard to them on things that I've gone through.
Aggravation, building up a toleration. Drown, soccer, drown, soccer, drown, soccer, drown. I've been feeling like I'm drowning with my feet upon the ground. I've been screaming, I've been shouting, but I never make a sound. I've been looking for a way out, but I always seem to drown.
Is this all making sense, Ren?
Yeah, I think so.
Good. What I propose we do is we try to pinpoint the exact experiences from the past that are keeping you stuck. What can you tell me about your childhood?
I can't really think.
It's okay if nothing comes up right away. What I'd like you to do is take some deep breaths with me. In.
So little things that you catch, which, the most obvious one is you have this therapist that is trying to work through his childhood stuff, trying to give him medication, asking if it makes sense. And he says he's standing on ground but still drowning. And you have the pig man is what I'm going to call him, come out, and it's like filtering through. And we saw him earlier in the video, and I didn't stop and make mention of it. I kind of made a little reaction to it. But here, what it makes me think about is, as your therapist is trying to help you and is doing all these experiments with you, trying to make it work, and nothing's working, it's like, how do you see this therapist? Like, are they actually doing good for you? Are they actually there for your best interest? And it can get your mind spiraling in its own way. And so when the pig man appears, it's like, sometimes it's the thought of like, is this right? Is this right? And so, yeah, just thing. And then the more subtle one that I thought was interesting is just the wobbly table. Like, they didn't have to make it wobbly, but it shows the insecurity or the imbalance of the things that are going on. So even that slight, like, little tip in the table really tells a lot within the story as well.
Okay, if nothing comes up right away. What I'd like you to do is take some deep breaths with me. In and out. In and out. Good. Now tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
I feel like it's not me, it's the world that's sick. We're given everything we need and we commoditize it. We consume, we destroy like we're parasitic. Science tells us that it's suicide and still we commit. I'm not sick, we are sick. We are standing on a cliff in the name of progress. We jump off the precipice. I'm not sick, I'm the virus, you're the virus, hypocrite. How can you sit there with that smile on and tell me that I'm sick? Sick boy, looking for a fix, boy. Push it down in public, quick pose for the big boy. Record
pushing it down in public. He's standing here, and people are like, "Oh, give me your autograph, give me your autograph," and he's sitting there and he pushes it down for the public, and it's just like, you never know what somebody is going through. And that's why I try and show kindness to everybody and also have compassion and grace. And I talked about, having compassion and grace for myself. I've had to work on that. I've actually had compassion and grace for others a lot quicker than I've had it for myself. But, understanding that everybody's going through something, and you can't compare traumas with each other, because as terrible as it is what Ren went through and everything, something bad can happen in somebody else's life and it's equally as traumatic to them as what Ren went through. And so you can't compare traumas like that. And you can point to one and say, oh yeah, that's worse, but you're not in their mind, and you don't know what they're going through and what that voice is telling them. And so yeah, just understanding that, people put on a smile for the public, and I've talked about doing it myself and wearing that mask. And so just understand, if somebody is acting a certain way towards you, it's probably not you. It's probably something that they're going through. And keeping that in mind has allowed me to give people more grace and compassion and understand that I may not understand. So, yeah.
Thick boy, looking for a fix boy. Push it down in public, quick pose for the pick boy. Record label meetings to commodify your gift boy. Why you so upset? Don't you wanna be a rich boy? Fuck no, industry is cutthroat. I've been doing bits by myself, swimming backstroke, walking on a tightrope, rapping with a slit throat. The way that we persist is like the ending of a bad joke.
Don't you want to be rich though? Fuck no. Like, the industry is cutthroat. Like, yeah, that's the whole thing. And in High Rent, he talks about how his music's not commercial like that. He's doing it for himself. He's writing it to relate with other people that may be going through the same thing. And it's supposed to be inspiration. And he's rapping with a slit throat. He's going through it, but he's still making this music. He's really putting it out there. So to see him be as successful as he is with everything that he's gone through, it just is a huge testament to show that you can be true to yourself. You don't have to sell out. You don't have to step on people to get to the top. Like, he's done it in a way that he's built people up with him and given them the credit that they deserve. And so yeah, it makes sense that he's saying, fuck no, I don't want to be rich if it's a cutthroat industry and I'm going through what I'm going through. Like, I'm just going to do it for myself and let it go the way that it goes.
I roll, rapping with a slit throat. The way that we persist is like the ending of a bad joke. As the people evolve, we're complacent to assailants and we do what we're told. Counterintelligence, a sight to behold. Rape the earth of all resources and we bleed it for gold.
Yeah, so is talking about exactly what I was saying. Yeah, what did he say?
On a tightrope, rapping with a slit throat. The way that we persist is like the ending of a bad joke. As the people evolve, we're complacent to assailants and we do what we're told.
We're complacent to assailants and we do what we're told. Oh man, so many people are sheep. So this is what I consider selling out, is we're just doing what we're told. Like, we're trying to make it based on what other people are telling us. And it's just, ugh, like, I hate that. Like, I'm a free thinker. I've been a free thinker my whole entire life. Like, since the time I was 12, in the religion that I was brought up in, I was able to decipher even at that age, like, ugh, like this isn't it. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to think my own way. I'm going to, march to the beat of my own drum, and I'm not a sheep. Like, I don't follow. I don't blindly follow. Like, I'm going to ask questions, and that's something I'm going to teach my daughter, is you ask questions. And just because somebody's in a authoritative position does not mean that you have to blindly follow. Like, ask questions, and once you understand fully and can make the decision yourself, then you can follow, or you can choose to step away, and I'm going to support it every single time. So just don't be sheep. Just make decisions for yourself. Be free thinkers. Like Ren was. He's not going to succumb to the assailants and the people are just going to tell you what to do. Say, you got to do this to make it. Like, people are as big of a bad voice in your head as your own bad voice in your head. So you got to be careful who you surround yourself with.
Ending of a bad joke. As the people evolve, we're complacent to assailants and we do what we're told. Counterintelligence, a sight to behold. Rape the earth of all resources and we bleed it for gold. And we bleed it for wealth, we bleed it for fame. But when you bleed it, can you tell me what the fuck will remain? And I bleed in myself, I bleed in my brain. While I'm bleeding, I'm the reason, cause I'm doing the same.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. The last line talking about how, the people are bleeding the world of gold and what's going to be left after it's depleted. And I think he was saying that he does the same thing in his own brain. Here, let me take a look.
Cause I'm doing the same.
While I'm bleeding,
I'm the reason, cause I'm doing the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he was depleting his own resources with everything that he was doing and everything that he went through. And so it's, how do you take a step back and take it away from that? Yeah. It talks about depleting the earth and the greed and everything like that. And again, what's going to be left after everything's said and done? Yeah, it's it's on par with everything else that he's been saying and the songs that he's put out and the videos that I've reacted to, and it's again just so prevalent and so consistent that his whole thing is staying true to himself and not selling out and not blindly following and stepping on people to get to the top. And again, just the struggle that he went through with the experiments and the medication and going undiagnosed and the side effects that he went through, and the voice that is telling him that things are rough and he's not going to make it and everything. And so it's just, there's so much to take away from it. And it's so interesting because Ren talks about so much bad that he's gone through in his life, but it's in such a positive message of, you can make it through, you can stay true to yourself and still make it. So it's just, it's almost a juxtaposition in the sense that, it is really deep traumatic stuff with a good outline, so it's interesting. It's not something that you see in others' music as much. A lot of it is very straightforward in what it is that they're singing or they're rapping about, or things like that. So it's it's just, he has a way of doing things. We've always known it, we've seen it, and we'll continue seeing it. I'm excited to jump into more music. So again, the last one that I did was Blind Eyed by Ren featuring Sam Tompkins. So if you missed that, go and check it out. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the comments there. And then the next one that I'm going to be doing is the Big Push song, and it's going to be An Englishman in New York. And I've heard a lot of good things about that one, so I'm excited to jump into that one, maybe keep things a little bit lighter from what I understand. But yeah, I'm excited to keep doing this. Like I said, sometimes I don't feel like it, but thanks to my commitment and having the accountability from y'all to keep performing and keep, performing is not the right word, but keep on reacting and keep on showing up for myself, but also for y'all, is huge. So thank you again for your support. I couldn't do it without y'all. So keep on supporting. Subscribe, like, comment, share, do all of the things, and make sure you keep an eye out, because like I said, 2 videos a day, that's what I'm going to be doing, that's what I'm committed to, and that's what I will make sure will happen. So until next time, keep chasing the beats.